Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Green. My name's Norma, your host of whatever, and we're back. Love is Blind, season 8, episode 7 through 12. Yes, they're chunked together. You don't need to judge me. But I've decided to continue the couple by couple style. Just felt like it made more sense to me than to go episode by episode because this season, the season is boring. It's boring, okay? But anyways, yeah, we're gonna jump right in. Now, I am gonna start by saying what each episode was about, what was happening in each episode, just to kind of, I don't know, establish the flow. Episode 7, of course, was Out of the Pods. They were in Honduras, I believe, so the honeymoon stage of the show or whatever. And in my opinion, this was just basically all the couples, minus Taylor and Daniel, trying to convince each other or themselves that they are the perfect match, or that they make sense, or that they're in love. I think a few of them were struggling with not having full physical attraction. Seems like most of them fully overcame that, but either way, it was just clear that everyone was just uncomfortable, but trying to convince themselves that they weren't. That's what it seemed like to me, except for Taylor and Daniel. They seemed fairly normal. We will talk about them because I know that the cliffhanger was left on them, so we will get to them. Episode 8 was all of the couples meeting each other in Honduras, and then them going into their new apartments. Then episode 9 is meeting friends and family. Now in episode 8 and 9, it's those two episodes are basically moving into new apartments, seeing each other's old apartments, and meeting family and friends. Episode 10 is a continuation of meeting families and friends, as well as couples date nights. They always kind of do that, random vlogging of their date nights, just in the middle type of situation. Episode 11 was them meeting all of the pod people and then picking wedding dress and suits. So that was really interesting. I've kind of included the pod people that had some sort of something going on in this episode in their connection to the couples. So when I'm talking about that couple. And then what else? Let's go through the dresses real quick. So Sarah's dress was pretty. I liked it. I loved Monica's dress and veil on her. It looked great. I loved Taylor's outfit. Big bell bottom white pants. Killing it. She was killing it. And then her dress was gorgeous. She tried on 2. The first one was really pretty. I do kind of agree with the boob situation though. The other one was really, really nice. It covered it well. It was still the same kind of style. So very pretty. And lastly, Virginia's dress was really pretty as well. I felt like it was very her. And I know we don't know much about her because she doesn't share much. It felt very her somehow. And then episode 12 is their final dates. So similar to the middle date vlogging, they vlog their last and final date before they go their separate ways before the wedding. And then this episode ended on Sarah and Ben's wedding, and obviously on a cliffhanger as to whether they say yes or no. Jumping right in to Lauren and Dave. So Lauren and Dave at the honeymoon is essentially Dave poking at her. It's what I said in my last video. I hate, and I think as you get older, it shifts, that deprecating of your partner as jest and it's just getting funny, haha. It's not. It's not. Who the hell, I'm sorry. No, nobody wants to be experiencing that for the rest of their life. He's talking about how much he pees. At one point, he's like, oh, your hair, you're going to change your hair or something. Ew, sir. Just ew. Then when everyone meets on the honeymoon, all the couples, he basically goes person to person asking if they've had sex. Mind you, he only has rapport with the men. So okay, fine, ask the men. But then he proceeds to ask Virginia after talking to Dave about it. Or why? Why? I'm lost. Were you thinking he lied? Were you thinking you were going to get a different answer? What is happening here? And some people do say that he was probably asked to ask that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to pretend to understand what it feels like to be on reality TV, but I would like to believe that I could just say I don't want to do that. Thanks. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Once they're all home in the new apartment and all of that, this is where the drama with Dave and Lauren begins. Dave talks about being nervous to meet her dad because she lets him know that the dad doesn't want his kids living with people before they're married. So he makes that a whole big deal. Like, oh, wait, what? Like, you should have told me that. Like, does he know we're going to be living together now? Like, and you're like, oh, okay, calm down, sir. It's not that serious. And then I believe in that same conversation in the next one, comes up this situation with the guy that Lauren had a thing with. She refers to it essentially as a situationship. She's like, I was just doing my thing. I knew this guy wasn't for my future. And so, yeah, like we were hooking up for a few months, but that's it. And then Dave is basically saying that his friends told him and all these people around him know this guy personally and believe the guy when he says that they were in a relationship when she left, that he was her boyfriend when she left. So now he's making it this whole thing that his sister's texting him. Because I don't remember if I mentioned like how important his sister like was to him and how he like valued her opinion and she didn't want him to go on the show. So he's worried to tell her that he actually got engaged, yada, yada, yada. So it's a big deal to him. I'm just, you know what? Let's consider our opinion now. Dave just wants to like make Lauren end it. So he's making a big deal out of this. He's like making a big deal out of her. He doesn't trust her, but he trusts his friends in hopes, in my opinion, allegedly, in hopes that she will end it and he won't have to be the bad guy because they are on camera. And I say that he just goes so hard trying to convince her. And he does this weird, like, I do love you, like, I do want to be with you. It's just this doubt, like, this doubt. And it's like, it's one or the other, sweetie. He continues these manipulation tactics. Lauren is basically like, let me meet your friends and your sister. Let me explain the situation. And then let's see, like, what they say, right? She's essentially like, once they meet me, like, we're gonna be good. And he's like, I don't know about that. My friends aren't standby because I don't know if I want you to meet them yet. And, like, his sister, he's not sure. And then so they're talking back and forth about this because she's like, I was not dating him. Like, I don't know how else I can make you believe that. And then he starts saying like, oh, I don't know if my sister should come. His sister was never coming. As everyone is saying, she probably doesn't even exist at this point, but his sister definitely was not coming. I don't think he ever scheduled for her to come. And your friends are on standby. You're telling me all your friends are sitting at home, not making plans on the off chance that you invite them to dinner with your fiance. What are you talking about? So yeah, he's essentially like, oh, I don't think this should happen anymore. And she's like, okay. And then she's like, well, I would like us to stay here together tonight. And he's like, I wouldn't. No. I need to go out with my friends. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, it ends like that. He goes out. Then the next day, she looks sad as hell. He didn't come home. He texted her at 2 a.m. saying he was going to his apartment. And then when she tried to text him again in the morning, it went to green, which let her know his phone was dead. He shows up to there at like, I can't remember, it was either 12:30 or 2. Those are the two numbers I have in my head. But he shows up, he's like, yeah, my phone died. I woke and, I fell back to sleep from like 7 to 10:30. And I woke, or 11:30, whatever he said. And I woke up like, oh my God, I hope it's 10. And it wasn't. And then I had to Uber to my car because it was at the bar. So I had to Uber to my car and then come here. A bunch of bull hockey. And yeah, Lauren again is reiterating, like, we have to get on the same page. Like, my parents want to meet you. She does let him know that, like, she was with them last night when he was acting the way he was acting. And he's like, oh, you were with them? Lauren just reiterates how important it is for them to meet each other's families and, like, make it real. And so he meets her mom. Seems to go well. I think her mom was being kind, as most moms are. The next episode, like, begins with them talking in this, like, movie theater. And they're basically talking about the whole situation. And he's trying to be like, weirdly though, there was a conversation before. They went like bowling on the date night episode. And he seemed like he was coming around. Like, I was like, oh, maybe he's letting it go, right? Because the way he was talking seemed like, yeah, like I gotta move on from it. I gotta let it go, yada, yada, yada. And then he doesn't, I guess. And so, yeah, basically this meeting in the movie theater is him continuing to manipulate the situation to try to make it her fault and like to try to make her end it. So now the new issue is he didn't like the way her dad said he wasn't ready for marriage. How is he not ready for marriage when she's the one that was sleeping with someone a week before? And like, he doesn't want his sisters and his friends. He says, I don't want them just meeting anybody. This woman is your fiance. What the fuck are you talking about? Girl, I would have been in a long time ago, but that would have had me like, all right, we good to go. And Lauren thankfully puts him in his place. I wish she'd gone a little bit harder, but this was enough. This did the trick. Because she's like, that's all you. Like, this is something you need to figure out and you need to fix. Because if you were ready for marriage, this would not be a big deal. Like, you would have already let me meet your sister, your friends, and made it right, and we would have been good. Like, you can't convince me they tripped it. That's not what she said. But like, you're doing too much now. Now you're doing too much. Now you've done too much, and no one believes you. And then it's so stupid because, again, it's the manipulation in this conversation, because when she says that, and he's like, you sound like your dad, because her dad also told him, like, you should be defending her to them. Like, you should be, like, having them meet, trying to solve the problem. And then he's like, my family and friends, if I said, like, come on, like, they would come, like, they would support me. And then by the end of the conversation, he's like, I can't convince them. It is what it is. If they're set on something, they're set on something. So which one is it? You're not allowing them, or they don't want to? Like, what's happening here? It's clear to everyone but him, apparently. He believes he's fooling people. I don't know if it's clear to Lauren fully, but it's clear to me that allegedly, in my opinion, he was never planning on her meeting his friends or his sister or his daddy or anybody, because he was trying to get her to break up with him so he doesn't look like the bad guy. And when that didn't work, he had to do what he had to do. And he's talking about, I do love you, but my gut's telling me this is right. Like, I love you and it's so hard. No, it's not. You don't want to be with her. She said it herself. She's like, you don't love, I don't believe that. If you love me, we would have worked through this. When all of the pod people meet up, we get Lauren and Molly talking, and Molly is a girl's girl, okay? She's like, I got your back. She's like, was he celibate? Like, what is he talking about? And they make a joke about, like, oh, he was a virgin this whole time. That makes sense. Like, and yeah, Molly's essentially like, that's stupid. He's crappy. Fuck that. She's like, honestly, saw him on Instagram and was like, oh, I'm not missing nothing. So Molly's chilling. Molly's cool. Although, I will say, had me nervous because I was like, Molly girl, you better not be them girls that says one thing to the girl, something different to the guy. You better not be over there with flirty eyeballs on. But she was not, honey. She was looking at that man in pure womanly disgust. She was like, what are you talking about? So he's like, you know, I'm usually the one that messes up. Like, I'm usually the one that fucks up. And she kind of like scoffs, and she's like, are you gonna tell me that she fucked up? No, she didn't fuck up. It's just that I'm usually the one being like, oh man, I should have done something different. Oh man, I should have done more. And like, it's actually her. And Molly's like, no. No. And she's like, yeah, no, like, you should have been fighting for her. You should have like forced your family and friends to meet her, put her on a FaceTime call with them. Like, you should have been trying harder. Also forgot to mention, Lauren mentions that she wrote his sister like this long letter, like who she was, about the situation, and just like how much she'd love to meet her. And he didn't even give it to her. What does that tell you? But out of here. But yeah, Molly's a girl. Stands up for Lauren. She's like, that's my girl. I got her back. You a weirdo. Gets up and takes her drink with her. And so I guess Dave gets drunk and gets in his feelings or something, because he goes up to Lauren, slurring his words, like, I love you, and I just feels like I fucked up, like, just taking drunken accountability. But also not. He's doing that thing where it's like, I love you, I want to be with you, I do, but like, then there's that. But in a way that's almost, it's like trying to get you to be the one to say. Moving into Sarah and Ben, and these two, you know, there's a whole like politics of him being like, I don't really care one way or the other. Him saying he's religious, and him saying he's of faith and she's not, and she's struggling with that, but she picks him anyways. Kenny JD. Why was I struggling? Kenny JD said it best. It was like that fake wokeness where it's like, I care about these issues, but not enough to get with the guy who might be against them. Like, that's the type of time she was on, and it was kind of annoying. And yeah, she essentially spends all of their airtime making LGBTQ plus an issue with him, where it's like, yes, it's an important issue in the world, right? However, this man has already said to you multiple times he supports that community. One of his best friends is a lesbian. I'm not sure what she defined as, but she's dated women. So although he does use phrases like, I have friends who are like that, and that's a little bit weird, but there's still love there. There could be some learning, but there's love there. And she insists on like, what if her kids were LGBTQ? Then it's, what if her kids were transgender? And it's like, baby, he already said it's fine. He already said he'll support them. He already said you don't got to go to church if you don't want to. So like, either you're okay with this or you're not. Although I will say the church conversation is way bigger than people try to downplay it. That's your whole world, religion. If he goes every weekend when they have kids, he's gonna want to take his kids every weekend. And then what are y'all gonna, like, y'all gonna fight about how he's not taking them? I just think they both need to really think about it, right? Like, is he prepared to have a woman who's not in the church like he is? And then is she prepared to have a man like who's in the church like he is? They meet Ben's friends. They talk him up. Baby, when I tell you they talk about how he's always a DD driver for them. He gets everybody home safe. He's so great. He's so great. He's so great. And then I think by the end of this episode, if not the next one, it's Sarah basically saying how there's these TikToks about a guy. And he's like, yep, it's about me. And then he's talking about how he doesn't remember, but then he starts remembering and it's like sketchy. But from what I've heard on social media, they only went on a couple dates. The girl has confirmed that, or at least said like she regrets how she took it to the internet. Like it was dramatic is what I understand that she was feeling or saying about it. They kind of talk it out. Seems like she's gonna do her best to move on from it, and he's kind of just like, yeah, you're either gonna believe me and let it go, or trust me and let it go, or not, right? So it's just like, let's see how it goes, I guess. Then Ben meets Sarah's sister and her sister's girlfriend slash possibly wife. I don't know, her sister's partner. And she's working overtime to try to convince them that they're perfect for each other, that he's perfect. They're essentially like, we're not seeing it. Like, because it's clear, they keep saying their values align, but their values are very different. Like, what is going on here? So I don't know. He like walks away and they're just like, girl, no. And she's like, no, you don't understand though. You don't understand. Like you don't understand. And it's like, they do. They do understand, and they still have that opinion. Let it go, girl. Let it go. Sarah goes to church with Ben. She doesn't like it. It's clear. That's when the whole transgender conversation happens. I guess the pastor said something that threw her off. I also always feel weird. Like she continues to bring this up, and it's like, yes, it's important, but like, what is your deal? Like what? And he's giving you an answer that should be good enough. So it's like, what answer is it exactly that you're looking for? Let us know. Please let us in on whatever this is. Editing Norma here, looking ratchet in the bathroom silently because I have loud children. I completely forgot to mention when she uses the church accepts LGBTQ people, and the girlfriend was like, I hate that because it's like, it's something, what is there to accept? Like, it's just who we are. Like, we're made in God's image, yada, yada. She does the whole thing. And Shorty looks so irritated, like eye rolling. Like, what do I say? What's the proper way to say? Calm your body. Calm down. Yeah, I wanted to mention that so bad because I thought it was hilarious that it was like, oh yeah, like ally. And then she was like, bitch, fuck you think you are correcting me? The A in LGBTQ. And then we have them getting ready for their wedding. He's mostly all right, talking through, like, talks with his friends about how, like, it's kind of up to her, because it is up to her if she's going to accept what, you know, has been going around about him. And then on her end, she seems excited at first, but then I think her sister can tell that things are kind of getting questionable, but she knows that she'll, like, say yes to try to please everyone, yada, yada. So the sister ends up kind of just being like, do this for you. Make this decision for you and no one else. And hopefully she does, because that is a complicated situation right there. Monica and Joey. Okay, so not too much on these guys. Joey talked to her about having OCD and how him and his therapist used exposure therapy to help him get better. And he's mostly better and continues to like get the help, do the things he needs to do. That conversation happens. Then they meet Monica's family. They do a little like music circle where everyone's playing an instrument. We find out that the guy her sister's dating was a guy that started talking to her first, and she was like, my sister would be way better for you type of situation. The sister's giving weird vibes. Then of course we get, she shows Joey the communal sock bin situation. And if I'm being real, I get it. Like in our house, their dad is the only one. Like I feel like once they're older, we're all gonna basically have the same sock size besides their dad. So it's like we could have like a girl's communal sock bin. Like who the heck is, you know, like gonna be like, this is your sock and these are your socks. So I get it. It makes sense to me. Monica then goes outside to talk to her sister, where her sister proceeds to be just a hating, envious woman. She's just like, he's not your type. Your type is like an Italian model. And like, I'm 5 years older than you. Like, this is supposed to be me first. It's supposed to be me first. Me first. Girl, be quiet. What is wrong with you? Are you okay? So then later on, Joey and Monica have a conversation about it where he's like, do you think it's jealousy? And she's like, yes, absolutely, yes. Then we get this interesting scene. Apparently her sister's a photographer by trade, as she called it, and she's gonna go take pictures of them. And it's just this awkward, like them being goofy and her just taking pictures, and like it's just weird. Then they proceed to talk about the elephant in the room, and the sister is like apologetic and like, I didn't know you back then. But her facial expressions are giving the exact opposite. Her facial expressions are saying, still no, he's weird, you're being different, weird. Like, it's clear that woman still agrees with her first formed opinions, if you're asking me. Which is proven because in the previews, she's like, I still don't know. And it's like, girl, go somewhere, please. Go away. Virginia and Devin. I was about to say Dave. All these people with all these same names and faces. Virginia and Devin, they get their new apartment. They go to see each other's places. And then they go to his place and then her place first. When they're in her place, they start talking about like what they'll do. And she's essentially saying like she wants to be buying a house going from the apartment she's in. She doesn't want to like rent another place. She wants to like buy a house. And he's like, okay, yeah. Like he's talking about the debt he has. He has medical debt. And he has student loan debt and medical debt from his surgeries. And I'm so confused because I'm like, did he not play basketball? Like, would he have? I don't know. And then the medical debt was when he was in high school, and I think they said he's 30 something now. I feel like that probably should have been cleared, especially with you stating you have multiple pairs of $700 sneakers. Like, where the priorities at? Because they're not here. I also feel like he kind of talked a big game about himself and like just finessed the situation with words, because like in the pods, I got the impression that he was like director of this big program, right? Like was director, was the coach. And when you say coach, you're thinking like varsity or like one of the main teams or something. And then in this conversation with her, it's like, you know, I would like to be the co-founder one day, like CEO. Like I started this with the guy and I'm moving on up, and you know, I want to be varsity coach. And it's like, hold on. You're not even varsity coach? What's happening here? And he's talking about starting it with the guy. I think, so he makes it sound like he started the business with this person, right? Like he was in the back with him, taking meetings, calculating numbers, like when I think what he really means, if you're asking me, allegedly, in my opinion, I think what he means is he was a coach from the beginning. Like this was his friend, started this company, was like, come be my coach. And he was like, okay, how are you not varsity coach yet? Well, okay. Thankfully, Virginia is intelligent and is like, we're going to need a prenup. And he's like, what? I've never thought about that. She's like, yeah, it's to protect your assets. She's like flipping it out. She's like, Matt, you know, like if anything ever happened, I'm not like, give me your money from this or that, you know, your big basketball empire, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And essentially what she's getting at, she's like, we take what we came with, whatever's acquired together gets split in whatever way we deem best. Simple prenup, right? Now, this whole prenup conversation, once again, Love is Blind needs to be requiring their people to do this, because you are effectively screwing people over. If you match two people with differing incomes and it does not work out, you better believe that that lower income person is going to come for everything that person's got. Why are you not protecting your contestants? I don't understand how everyone isn't being made to draft up a prenup and sign it. We meet Devin's family. I don't know. It was weird. They talked a lot about the 50-50 thing and the prenup, and like, I don't know if it was producer led or something, but it was just a lot where it was like, get out of their business. Like, they gonna figure it out. And if you have questions, ask Devin when he's by himself with you. Stop making it weird. Devin meets Monica's mom and she likes him. She seems to like him. Like, she seems all for it, all positive vibes. So we like that. They have like a little bedtime politic conversation. He says his family is conservative. She seems kind of surprised because she's like, oh. But he's like, but I'm not, yada, yada. It was a weird conversation that ended weird. At the pod meetup, Devin meets Brittany and they do talk. She lets him know she thought his reaction was immature. He could care less, it seems, or at least that's the way editing made it seem. Later on, we get Devin acting like he has to read through this prenup and ask his lawyer and ask his mom and all this stuff. And he comes back to her. He's like, I had all these people read it and I think it's fine. And she's like, yeah, I wasn't trying to get over on you. Like, it's what I said it was, you weirdo. Like, he's just being so weird. He's like, I'm fine with it. I'll sign it. And they sign it. Devin gives her some gifts. It's like a golden basketball that says Team Buckley, I believe is his last name. And then little like penny jerseys that say like their name on the back, like Virginia does it, and their Devin, and their wedding, like I guess it's supposed to be like March 18th, it seems like. So he got 03, she got 18, and he said it's their wedding date. So yeah, that was kind of cute. That was kind of cute. I can't even lie. I would have loved that if somebody got me that. Last but not least, Taylor and Danielle. And as I mentioned in the beginning, they're the only couple to me that seems like they're at a place where they should get married. Like I said, the other couples, some of them do seem like a good match, but they seem like a good match in the beginning stages. Like, you shouldn't be getting married. You should just be like dating, getting to know each other. That's the impression I'm getting from pretty much all of them, except for Taylor and Danielle. As I mentioned in the beginning, it started off on that cliffhanger. She says like, oh, I have the followers app and I can search it. And then one of the producers is like, well, bring you your phone. Do you want it? And she's like, yeah. They connect her to the Wi-Fi. She looks through. It's not made clear, but I get the impression that she did not find him, because then she just kind of looks ashamed. And he's like holding her hands and he's like, it's okay. It's fine. I get it. We're good. We're good. They decide to go on the honeymoon because Daniel makes it clear, like, hey, if you don't want to go on the honeymoon, we don't have to. We can go home. We can just keep dating. They go on the honeymoon. They have a great time. They're really, really cute. She brings it up again, just kind of being like, I don't regret, like, asking. I regret how I went about it, which I could see, right? It was, like, really intense for a situation that could have just been like, do you follow me? No? Okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to check. I don't know. It definitely was a topic she needed to bring up, but coming from a place of distrust when you're about to get married is a little bit scary, I won't lie. And that's the thing, like, yes, I get that these people met for a short amount of time, but that's what you signed up for. And so it's just kind of like, if you don't trust this person, what are you doing even considering marrying them? Like, that's a little bit crazy if you ask me. Once they're back home, of course, we're meeting the family. They meet Daniel's family. His family is very open to it. Like, they're kind of like, hey, it's crazy, but like, he's an adult, right? Like, we're here to support. That's all we can do, which comes up later. But Taylor's family, mostly her mom, are apprehensive. And so she's nervous. She gets a little teary-eyed talking about it to his parents. But eventually he goes to meet her mom. Seems to calm her down. His family comes over to meet. And then, because the mom's kind of like really, really on the fence and against it. And his mom says something of like, you know, they turn into grown-ups and all we can do is support them. Be here to catch them if they fall. Like that type of stuff. And so yeah, it goes well. Like, their parents get together, everybody meets, and it goes really well. And I'm very excited for them because, like I said, I feel like they could actually make it, like, get married and be good. We get some date nights with them. Very normal though. They're very much the like boring couple of the season, quote unquote, where like everything's going well. They do some Christmas photos. I thought they were really cute. I love the background. I love her green dress. It was just very adorable. And if they say yeah, like, how awesome is that? Those are all the couples, but I do have some stuff to talk about some of the people that came when all of the pod people met up. Madison walks in with pink hair, being a hater and being weird. Like, it was just a lot to take in. We're just gonna be real here, okay? Okay. And then Meg walks in. So that was Madison. Did I get the names right? It's too much, y'all. It's too much. Madison. Then Meg walks in holding hands with Mason. And Madison is just rolling her little eyes, okay? And then she proceeds. So they say, you know, they both, like, looked each other up right away. Meg found him, hit him up, and then they didn't stop talking since. And, like, they did their own little meetup where she got to wear her reveal dress, yada, yada. So they're dating now, is what we're gathered. Madison's being a hater. She's, like, so annoying. And then Alex walks in, and she's talking about how he, like, insisted on meeting at the airport. She met him, and she was like, not much to look at. And then talks about how they talked for a while up until he like told her like, oh, Meg messaged me and said XYZ, and Madison was like, that was weird. And I forget who she was talking to, but that person was like, she said she wouldn't say, you know, like, they're like, no, like, did she like Alex? I don't remember her liking Alex. And she goes, no, and I mean, he's a liar, so he could be lying. And she says all this stuff about him. And listen, there's a lot of shit out about this man. If it's all true, ew, he's an awful human. However, what I hate is, not even however, because that's awful. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, or however's about it. I just meant I'm switching topics back to this. But I hate when people, not just women, like date someone or have something with someone and then turn around and bash them to try to act like they didn't, if that makes sense. Like, kind of just being like, oh yeah, like, he's gross, he's annoying, like, he's so lame, like, just ick. But it's like, but you talked to him for like ever, forever. Like, what are you talking about? I just don't like when people do that. It's like, don't try. Like, you were with him though. Like, whatever you're saying was there and you still chose to continue speaking to him. So like, which one is it? What are we talking about here? That is all. We made it through 6 more episodes. Oh, really quick. Wait. Let me go through who I think is getting married. Let me open this back up. Okay. Percentages. We're going to get percentages is what I was saying. All right, Lauren and Dave are over. Thank God. Sarah and Ben, I think Sarah's gonna say no. I think she's gonna say no. I don't see her say yes. Monica and Joey, I'm just 50-50. I think they're great together. I think maybe they still need more incubating time before they get married, but they're 50-50 straight up. Virginia and Devin are a tough one for me because she seems like she's all in, and so does he, but then I don't know, like it's just still off. So I'm gonna say like 60-40, 60 being she says yes, 40 being he says yes, if that makes sense. Like 60-40, that they'll end up married. And lastly, Taylor and Danielle, and obviously that's a yes. Solid yes. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like the video if you did. Comment down below. I need your wedding percentages. Thank you. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.